Hi, so this video is to talk about one of the programs that I'm offering to people, and it's for people having cancer or have been diagnosed recently with a cancer, and they are looking for an extra support. So this program really is close to my heart because of my personal experience, even though it was a bit different than a real cancer, and also because someone in my close family is suffering from cancer. And I found that giving an extra support to someone while we are going through treatment is really a plus. And I wish to share it as much as I can to anyone wanting it, because cancer is touching so many people, any age, any ethnicity. It's just touching so many people. So what I wanted to show you in this video is that there are different levels of care through cancer treatment. So usually when we are diagnosed by an oncologist at the hospital, they will have a plan very quickly to tell you what will be the best option for you, if it's surgery, chemo, etc., or radiation or more. And then from that, very quickly, you will go on board on a treatment. And while that is amazing, that it don't take long to respond, it can be quite daunting, and it's quite hard to deal with all the emotion that can go in the body and all the thoughts that are going through. And it's really hard to process, so take the time to process. Usually we don't really have time to stop, breathe, step back, and sort of assess the situation. It's like we straight into the treatment and we start. And so when I was creating this support program, is the idea to help the person to process the emotions and to have a clearer mind and feeling freer in the present time, to be able to really focus on the physical part of the treatment, which will help them to, help you to feel better, hopefully a cure or feeling better. So my support is not to treat or to cure anything at all, but it's really to help you at a level. So as human beings, there are those very strong pillars. You can have more, they can be, more in details, but this is basically what we have. So there is a physical level where you have your treatment with your oncologist at the hospital, followed with your GP. And you have also the physiological side where maybe you will be encouraged to change your diet or to do some exercise if permitted. So that may be also after like a big physical treatment, maybe you'll need to change your diet or of some sort. And then you have also the mental and psychological side of it. So very often when, I'm sure as you know, when you are having a disease like this, you may have the possibility to speak with a therapist and psychologist, psychiatrist, to help you to go through this very overwhelming situation. And often we are going to talk a lot and express what we are feeling, but it's a lot at the mental level. So we can go back to childhood, but it's quite a lot about processing in the mind. And then you have another part, which is the emotional, which is what I'm doing, and which for me has a very big importance, because when I was studying psychology, what I found is a lot is about the brain, about the way we are thinking, we are dealing with our thoughts and our emotion, obviously. But there, I never found a connection between the mind and the body. And the mind is like a giant um, place where you store all your memories. But then stored on every memory, there are some emotions that are attached to those memories, to those experiences. And when the emotions are very strong because of a trauma, you will keep within you this emotional charge attached to this experience. And the way I'm dealing with emotions is that I'm teaching the person to detach themselves from the experience so they can really see it from another perspective. So when we do that way, it really helps the person to feel freer, to feel calmer, and to be able to process better mentally, physically, physiologically, what is happening. And then also when we're working, in all those aspects, it has also an impact on the spiritual level. So when I say spiritual, it doesn't have any religious connotation. It's just really about, especially when we have cancer, because often in the cancer we sort of know, like, if I don't do anything, I have the death sentence, as, like the doctor may say, you have this amount of months, this amount of years, this amount of weeks. And so we have suddenly like a death sentence. It's like suddenly like, wow, okay, what did I do during my life? And so many emotions are going through, and feelings, and sense of life. What is the meaning of life? And so that is the spiritual aspect. And when we are working on that level, it can help meaning of life, or at least the spiritual level, to feel more at peace. Whether you beat, I don't like this word, but whether you beat the cancer and feel you're cancer free, or you unfortunately can't, what is important is to be at peace within you. An acceptance of whatever is the right pathway for you. So I'm not saying like, it's the right pathway to die or to live. What I'm saying is just feel the peace within. And it's hard for you because also there are all the beloved person around you. And it's hard also for them to have this acceptance if there is no cure, for example. But even if there is no cure, it's always, always very important, I believe, to be at peace with our past. So when I'm saying that I'm working at the emotional level, I just want to dig a little bit deeper in it. You see, as human beings, we are quite a complex being. And at the same time, it's quite simple. So what is happening is that imagine that is you in the present time, and you've been diagnosed. So that's your present. What is happening? Okay, so before I go back, I'm going further. The body is the body represents the emotions. So when the mind stores thoughts and memories, the body stores differently. It stores through sensation and emotions. And like memories, it keeps it. So any negative emotions and even positive emotions are kept within you. So when it's positive, it's okay. But when it's negative, this is where it's creating it can create something wrong. So what happens is, let's say the present, and then you have a cancer, I don't know, a liver cancer. So in Chinese medicine, for example, liver is linked to anger. And when we are going back in time, we have had different traumas. So there can be big traumas, smaller trauma, it doesn't really matter because it depends on the person. So let's say, I don't know, you had 3 major traumas. So one, you were 20, say you're about 50 now, and then you had 12, you were 12 and then 8. And every experience, traumatic experience, will hold some emotion. Let's say at 8, your parents divorced. So you felt abandonment, you felt angry. So maybe angry against the situation, but maybe also angry against yourself. You know, maybe suddenly trust level just fell down because you couldn't trust your parents anymore. So it will be different for everyone. And then, for example, at age 12, your grandpa you were close with dies, and you felt like really big grief, sadness, for example. And then age 20, let's say that you had a big accident, and that wasn't your fault, and something happened to you. And so maybe this accident created some anger, some frustration, because maybe you lost maybe maybe you broke a limb, and now it's a bit harder to walk or to use your arm. So it has created something physically. So it can be anger, frustration, it can be feeling of loss, and so on. So those are the main ones, but all along your life, I can go on, there are way more traumatic events that you can think of. And so what happens is that each time you have a traumatic event, you will store every emotion on your body. So you will store it, let's say, in different places, here, on your liver, on your throat, in your head. Here, grief will be in your heart, sadness probably in the heart also, and anger, that will be more the liver, frustration, more the heart and the head, and the loss will be more the heart. And so what happens is that all that is kept. Obviously we don't see it, and for you that may be like, that's too much craziness, but you're feeling emotions, right, all the time. So there is something, emotion exists, they do exist, but we don't see that we are keeping them. You see, just give you an example. If you think about something that annoys you from your past, well, try to think how many times do you think about it, daily. Something that is always there in your mind. Well, that is what is happening. It's always in your mind. So when it's always in your mind, that means you still have this electrical, emotional charge somewhere, and it can't get out. You're still thinking about the same situation, lingering about the same emotion. And what can happen is that, let's say, you had anger in here and here. So I'm not saying that it's cause to effect, But what I'm saying is it is possible that it helped building up something at a physical level. So when we are keeping emotion within us at the subconscious level, because it's a protection level, so we are keeping them here, and we are adding them up. And so when you are the present, you have all this anger that is stored here, and then you have, chronic headaches, you don't really think about it, and you have, your heart feels a little bit tired, or your lungs. And wherever in your body there is a weakness, there is a possibility for a disease, a physical disease, to, to feel comfortable enough to settle. When we get a flu, when we get, when we get a small disease, usually it's because our immune system is a bit more tired or a little bit weaker. So it's exactly the same with the bigger disease. But it's often, I'm not saying always, but it's often linked to an emotion to start with. So when we go and we mentalize and we think about, I felt this emotion, so that's great, that's a good start, that's amazing. But that is not enough to release it. The way I'm doing it is I'm helping the person to work through their heart space, meaning that opening their heart again, to trust again themselves, to feel fulfilled with their own energy. And when you do that way, you are aligning your heart and your brain. There are studies now that are showing neurites that are some, the heart has its own brain. So the brain is more a sensation brain, and usually the heart will feel before the brain think. So what happens is that because the heart feels first, but it's unconscious, it's really, if the heart is a little bit weak, or not weak physically, but weak emotionally, it won't react properly, or it won't send the right signal, or it will just help weakening another part in the body. So what happens, what I'm doing is helping you, supporting you to find your own answer. You have your own story, and it's not me who's going to tell you anything. You are going to do the work. The way I'm doing it is that I'm going to help you to put yourself above your life, above all what happens. Imagine that as a movie, okay? When in a movie you have actors, and all your life you have been an actor. You have been an actor in this experience where you felt anger, where you created anger, hatred, or sadness, sadness or grief, or here feeling, you had to play the role of feeling abandoned, or lack of trust. And the way I'm helping you is that I'm showing you that there is another way. So to go above, to become the director. So the director of a movie, he knows the beginning of the movie, and he knows the end of the movie, and he knows all the experiences along. So when you are the director and you see all those experiences, you can look at from an observing point of view, and you are not attached to the emotion anymore. And so it's easier for you to release whatever needs to be released. So I'm doing different techniques for that, obviously. And so once you release it through the heart space and the heart and brain coherence, it's actually quite magical. The person will feel like physical lift, like sometimes some people tell me that, it's very tight in my belly. I had that for, years and years. And sometimes in 1 or 2 or 3 sessions, this sensation goes away. Why? Because the emotion that was attached to the sensation are going away. So when we do that, you are releasing this old past. So you remember the experience, but you are releasing all these emotions, meaning that they don't have any electrical charge anymore. Everything is neutral, meaning in your present, all that goes away. So you don't see it, but it's gone. And because it's gone, it's easier for you then to concentrate, to have all your energy to focus on the physical and the physiological side. So you have more strength to do exercise, to change your diet if you need to, and way more strength and power, willpower to do your treatment. You will feel more at peace. So yes, so that was the video I wanted to talk about. And if you have any questions, and if you feel a call, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can call me, or you also can email me, and we can arrange a 30 minutes free consultation. Well, usually it's even a 45 minutes together, and I'm happy to be just, explain you a bit more, know about you, and if I can help you. And if there is a match between you and me, and you feel that we would really help you during your process, well, that would be fantastic. This is what I'm willing to do, and which I'm already doing. But this particular niche with cancer support is very dear to my heart. So have a beautiful day, and yeah, I hope to hear from you. Bye.